Hey everybody, in this video I would like to do a review of the Super7 Ultimates Thundercats Wave 4. I received this wave a couple days ago from Big Bad Toy Store. I got notice that my pre-order was about to come in. I think it was the next day. I got an email saying that they were in my pile of loot, and I immediately hit ship because I was ready to get these and check them out. There's been some things going on, some controversies about some other figures that when I get those figures in question, I will talk about in a different video later on. I haven't gotten them yet. Overall, I would say these figures are awesome. Definitely the best wave of Thundercats we've gotten so far. Mostly because this is the first complete wave that we've received, and we received them on time, and they're all new sculpts. Some of them are, figures that we really have never had ever, and really, really great wave of figures for sure. So I'm gonna run through these and talk about what I think of them and all that. So here we go. Let's start with Pumra. So Pumra is the figure that we've never had a figure of before at all. This was never in the vintage line from Thundercats. So this is actually from just one single episode of the Thundercats cartoon, and a pretty early on episode, I do believe. This is when Mumra actually used his magic to disguise himself as a Thundercat, and he kind of wormed his way into Cat's lair, and some of the Thundercats didn't trust him, and then others were like, no, we should give him a chance. So it was actually pretty cool episode. I mean, really, a lot of really interesting things happened, and you saw some dynamics between the different Thundercats and kind of who kind of sees the world in different ways. Now, so I have a couple paint marks on my figure. There's one right there on the chest, and then another one up here on the head. The one on the chest isn't too terrible, but the one on the head is unfortunate because it's never great when the face has like a paint mark on it. And this is a soft goods kind of robe that he wears, which is actually really neat. And I adjusted mine just a little tiny bit, but the way he comes in the package, it's actually, it's pretty good. I don't want to mess with it too much and unwrap it because I like how it looks right now. So I'm just going to kind of leave it go, but the mark on the face is unfortunate. Now, of course, there is the alternate head that he comes with, which is this one. And of course, this one doesn't have any paint marks, so this one looks really, really good. But, I just really like this kind of growling face a lot better. So, of course, that's my luck. The head that I prefer is the one that has the paint mark on it. The joints are all good. I'm not going to really go over a lot of the articulation. You can, see other reviews, or if you have these figures, So there's the ab crunch. It's really, really tight. And I have warmed all these guys up and already kind of posed them the way that I like them posed. But yeah, so you have the wrist, single elbow, of course, single knee. You notice the knees, they have like this weird thing where they, you can bend them, but then they also kind of turn. That's been causing some issues as well. Other reviewers and stuff have kind of showed some of those weird issues that they have with the knees. And now, of course, he doesn't want to stand up because I went and messed with him. But yeah, I mean, it's not, I would kind of prefer to get the more mainstream characters before getting some of these kind of weird oddballs. But it's a cool figure. It's a cool idea. Now, the other thing that's kind of neat, although it is what it is, I guess. We have another head sculpt, but this one is extra big to put on the ever-living Mumra figure, which, of course, we should have already, and we don't. So, and I would probably never display my ever-living Mumra with that head, and I'm certainly not going to buy another one to do it. So, I mean, it's a nice addition, but it's kind of unnecessary, if you ask me. And then Pumra comes with a claw shield, but for the claw shield, you have to take his whole hand off. It doesn't really fit over the hand. You just have to, like, stick it on like it's an arm. And then Pumra comes with a little communication device. He comes with the Sword of Omens wrapped up. And then he's got just some other, you know, the hands I have on him are kind of like the displayed kind of out and fighting hands. The other thing that Super7 does, which is really, really weird, and I really wish they would stop doing it, honestly, they give you 2 sets of gripping hands. And, I mean, I kind of understand that one has the vertical hinge and the other one has the side-to-side hinge. But, like, that's it. Like, I don't need 2 pairs of gripping hands. I just don't think that it's necessary. I don't know why they do this. I think that every figure should just come with a pair of gripping hands, a pair of displayed or gesturing hands, and a pair of fists. And that's it. And then you can kind of mix and match. You can have 2 fists, you can have 1 fist, and then 1 hand holding a weapon. But the whole, you know, up and down and then back and forth hinge on the wrist, it just seems super unnecessary to me. And the alternate head sculpts are good, but like I said, I feel like I would rather them focus more on, you know, QC, focus more on getting these to us a little sooner than worrying about things like, you know, some alternate heads that, you know, like, again, this giant one for the Mumra, like, it's a nice add-in, but who's going to display their ever-living Mumra with a Pumra head instead of the normal regular Mumra head that we all kind of know and love? I don't know. It just seems like some of it is just a bit unnecessary. All right, let's put Pumra kind of off in the distance here. And now let's talk about LynxO. So this is pretty cool. I never had the vintage figure, you know, as a kid. Just pretty much had the main cats and mutants. You can already see I'm having issues with his hip. And actually here, let me, because I can easily put these back. Let me take off his accessories. So he comes with his braille board. Don't really know which way it's supposed to go, but there it is. And then his, like, sonic shield thing. Don't really know what it's called. And then since we're on the topic of accessories, just real quick, here's his little, like, I forget what it's called. It's in the last episode. It's some kind of thing that they use to, like, save the planet or something. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, the hips on mine are pretty loose. You know, like if you can see that, it's a really loose hip joint. You know, he's a smaller figure, so I'm not too worried about him, like, falling over and crashing down and knocking a whole bunch over, but it's definitely hard to get him to stand and then stay there. So that's an issue. Again, the elbows, it's weird because he has these double elbows, but that's as far as I can get his arm to go up. I don't, it's just the construction of it. You know, ab joint is fine, but his bicep twists are really tight. But yeah, it's weird. Like, that's how far his arm goes. Like, it doesn't, yeah, it's just not very good. And then, of course, the one place where we really, really don't want a paint mark is right there on the Thundercats emblem. And you can see, like, there's a weird kind of gray stain or something on there. So again, that's really unfortunate. The face sculpt is great. I mean, it's definitely LynxO, like that is for sure. But yeah, just kind of overall, and the figure, he feels very just kind of plasticky, if that makes sense. Like, he feels a little cheap. He doesn't, you know, and you can see, like, the exposed hip joint there, like that. There's definitely something up with these hips. They're definitely not the way they should be. You know, the thing for me is LynxO is probably the Thundercat that I'm kind of, like, the least, I don't, like, I'm not a huge fan of LynxO. I don't really, you know, I got him to complete the team, honestly. So if this was a figure that I was a lot more invested in, then probably I'd be a lot more, upset about it. So LynxO is just going to go in the back behind everybody else and just kind of be chilling out back there. So for me, it kind of is what it is. But the hip joint issue is unfortunate. The Thundercat emblem having that weird stain or mark on it definitely is upsetting. Now here's the alternate head sculpt. Now this is another thing. I just don't... This, to me, is not LynxO. Like, LynxO doesn't get, like, angry and upset and, like, or even if you think this is, like, a sarcastic kind of smirk, that's not LynxO's personality. I mean, LynxO is a lot more of an, older, laid back. I mean, he's very, like, Yoda-like, and I feel like, again, if they want to give us an alternate head, give us a head with the glowing ears, right? Because when Lion-O summons the Thundercats and their emblems light up and their eyes light up, because LynxO is blind, his eyes don't light up, but his ears light up. I think that would have been a much better inclusion for an alternate head instead of like this growl or this sneer. Like, that's just not something that LynxO does. Like, that's something more like, Panthro or even Bengali would do. Like, LynxO isn't going to sneer and bare his teeth at somebody. He's an older guy. Like, he's more of a diplomatic kind of, Thundercat. But honestly, like I said before, I would rather just not get an alternate head sculpt at all. Do something about the quality control. Okay? The hips, just the overall kind of paint. There's a little paint mark right there. The issue with the emblem, just like this part of his shoulder, like it's just kind of like cheap looking. And, this is a $50 figure. It shouldn't look so kind of glossy and just kind of cheap and plasticky looking. And again, I can't even get him to stand up straight because, the hip just wants to kind of go in and out. And then again, with the hands, he's got, 2 pairs of gripping hands. So horizontal and vertical hinges, but no fists. And then he just has like these kind of like ready to pounce kind of hands. So yeah, I'm pretty disappointed with the LynxO figure. And again, he's such a short. I mean, I know he's a shorter character, so it's fine that the figure is shorter than the others, but I don't know. It's just a disappointing figure for me, honestly. And he just knocked over Pumra, but that's okay. The figure that is the least disappointing, because it's my favorite figure of this line, is Monkian. So the Monkian figure, for me, is, I guess I'm going to say 99% perfect. I absolutely love this Monkian figure. I love the way they did the ab crunch. Now mine is really, really tight, so it's probably not going to crunch too well, but I could heat it up. I just like the look of it. Like, it looks very kind of seamless, and it looks like a more modern, well done figure, a little bit more updated. The sculpting with the head and the shoulders is amazing. Even the sculpting job on the feet, he is great. And just the fact that he completes the trio of the original mutants with Slithe and Jackalman, it's awesome. It's really, really awesome. Now, a lot of people prefer the alternate head that he comes with, like the, kind of growling or roaring or yelling or whatever. I really do like this. I really like this head, but I don't know. I like this one better. I don't think I can even define why I like the regular head portrait better. It's just when I look at that, that's Monkian to me. Monkian in the show, he was always very cowardly, and I feel like this one is kind of making him like trying to make him to be more of like, a badass, like, hey, I'm gonna beat you up. And that's not Monkian to me. Like that, I don't know. The growling head sculpt is cool. Just absolutely, I think it's really cool, but I just prefer the one that I have on him right now. The reason I said 99% perfect is the issue I have is with the size of the weapons that he comes with. So his Morningstar weapon, it does have it feels like a metal chain. I mean, it might just be really shiny plastic, but it feels like a metal chain. And this is, kind of the gray plastic. I really wish it was more metallic. But this handle that's in his hand, it's so tiny. It's like, you know, I feel like it should kind of be like that big in his hand. And then the shield was really hard to get in his gripping hand because the shield handle is smaller than his hand opening. It's hard to tell, but and this shield, like, what is he trying to protect himself from? Like, that shield is so tiny. I just feel like we really should have been given larger weapons with Monkian. He also comes with this blaster, which is fine, but I definitely prefer Monkian with his shield and his Morning Star. And then we've got his kind of expressive hands, which are good. Nothing wrong with those. But then again, instead of fists, we're getting gripping hands with the up-down, if I can even get them to move, with the up-down instead of the, you know, or the back and forth instead of the up-down. And it just, you know, like, Monkian needs fists. I mean, come on. Like, you know, you could almost turn these into fists, but he really needs, you know, a fist in order to, like, you know, just punch a Thundercat, you know? But yeah, I would say definitely my favorite of the line by far. Just everything I talked about, plus just completing that core group of mutants from, you know, the first episode, the first many episodes. It's great. So huge fan of this figure. Absolutely, I feel like he's worth the money. I feel like he's been worth the wait. Just a fantastic figure. Definitely my favorite of the line. Move him back there. And now we've got the big boy. We've got Snowman of Hook Mountain. The other issue, what I just talked about with Monkian, it's the same issue I'm going to bring up here, which is he also comes with an ice shield. This is way too tiny. I mean, I couldn't even get this handle in that hand after warming it up. Now, with the expressive hand, it will fit in the expressive hand, but this isn't, I mean, this isn't what that's supposed to go into. I mean, it's, you know, it's such a tiny shield. I mean, it's cool. It's really, really neat, but I just feel like it's way too small for such a big figure. And guess what Snowman comes with? He comes with fists. So we know they can give us fists. They give us fists with other things. Give us fists with everybody, right? Everybody needs these fists. You know, it's very, very important when you're having a fight scene with a good guy and a bad guy for them to have fists to kind of, you know, punch each other with. Now, the helmet is removable, of course. So there's his face sculpt. The face, perfect. Like, this is Snowman of Hook Mountain. He looks fantastic. And, you know, he doesn't come with an alternate head, and it's fine. We don't need the alternate head. This is him. We don't need any more than this. And the fact that they gave us the removable helmet, that's great. The helmet this helmet is perfect. It has the metallic silver. It goes right on there, you know, perfectly. It looks great. The ice weapons, I think, are fantastic. He has a lance and a spear. I love how I have him posed up here. I think this figure is great too. My only little paint issue is I have a paint issue right here. There's a little scrape. Not a big deal. The hips make me a little nervous. They feel fine for now, but I just don't know if they can stand up to the weight of this figure. The ankles as well. I'm hoping that he stays put because this is a big guy. And if he takes a tumble off of a shelf, he's going to take out a lot of figures with him. But he feels pretty stable. He feels pretty good. So I think he's going to be all right. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I think that with the, you know, and then obviously, you know, his height, you know, he needs to be a really big, hefty figure, and that's exactly what he is. So even though I said Monkian is my favorite of the line, and he totally is, not of the line, he's my favorite of the wave. So out of these four, Monkian, by far my favorite one. But I'm going to say that Snowman is actually the better figure, okay? He's a better figure because his accessories, right? His helmet. We don't have an unnecessary head sculpt, and we have fists, right? So he's great. I mean, he has the shield could be bigger, but at least he has fists. At least he has a perfect head sculpt, and the helmet, the weapons are great. He feels pretty good. He feels pretty solid. You know, this isn't a figure that he needs to be jumping around and doing acrobatics. He just needs to be there, looking awesome, looking big and strong. And that's what the figure does. So for me, for this wave, I'm going to say, you know, LynxO is probably the dud, which is unfortunate because he's the only official actual Thundercat. Pumra is cool, but I feel like maybe a little bit unnecessary at this point. I would have preferred to get some of the more core characters, some characters that were in more than one episode. And again, with all the delays and all the issues, especially with Wave 2, I feel like it was a bit unnecessary. I feel like we just need the core characters before we start getting these like one episode or kind of one-off obscure characters. I would much rather just see the, you know, the more mainstream characters. But yeah, Monkian, definite winner. Snowman is awesome. So, you know, I would say absolutely 2 really great figures that we definitely need for the line. Hopefully I will get my Wave 2 figures soon. They're supposed to be shipping now. I haven't gotten an email about it. I emailed Super7 about the Wave 2 figures a couple weeks back, and I got no response. I got no reply. I'm going to talk about some of the customer service concerns that I have in my Wave 2 video. So whenever I get those Wave 2 figures, just kind of be ready for that one. But Wave 4 is great. Wave 4, I think, is the best wave we have so far. Yeah, if you're a Thundercats fan, I would say these are a must-have, but we're going to talk about Wave 2 in a later video. So have a good one. Thanks for watching the video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and have a great day.